Analysis machine. Let's do file 27.
How is it possible that your name is D Reaper and this is our first Digimon video?
Don't you start. Title card, please.
Rolling title card.
Hey guys, this is D Reaper, and it's time once again for Reaper's Review. If you're familiar with our channel, then you've probably heard us clowning on Boruto, the next generation, for doing their absolute best to crucify everything that made its predecessor great. And though Boruto might be one of the best modern examples of a sequel series disrespecting its roots, it's certainly not the only one. And it wasn't too long ago that someone asked me, what is a good example of a well-transitioned sequel series? Which brings us to today's topic. I'm gonna do you one better. Today I'm going to explain why Digimon Adventure 2 is a masterclass in passing the torch. We've got a lot to cover, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. Digimon has had many different forms over the years, so here's a quick recap about the crew we're gonna be working with to educate our less informed viewers. While attending summer camp, 7 kids are swallowed up by a freak tidal wave and transported into the digital world. That's right, the Digidestins are the original Isekai kids. Upon arrival, each kid is paired up with their own Digimonster, a digital companion, a digital friend you could say. Combining their strength with their human partner, as well as their Digivice, allows the Digimon to digivolve to a higher level, and become much more powerful. Throughout their adventures, they go from defeating the Dark Ruler of an island, to eventually bringing the fight to the real world, where Kari, Tai's sister, joins their ranks as the 8th child. With their full roster, they're able to defeat the Big Bad and save both worlds from destruction. If you're familiar with formulaic storytelling, then you know at this point, the hero's journey is complete. Now, one of the most challenging aspects of a direct sequel is rescaling. If our hero is already strong and experienced enough to overcome the greatest threat, then it hardly makes sense to recycle them through the hero's journey. For example, imagine dropping KCM2 Naruto in the Chunin exams. Or if Ichigo unlocked the true Getsuga Tensho before going to the Soul Society to rescue Rukia. There wouldn't be much depth or tension in either of these arcs because there wouldn't be a reason for the character to grow. There are a number of ways to go about this effectively from a storytelling process, some of which we discussed in our first video on the channel, which I'll have the analysis machine leave a link to here, since we won't talk about every one. But for starters, you can reduce the protagonist's power narratively, having them lose an appendage, or reset the protagonist to 0 due to an unfortunate event, or an unforeseen consequence. Maybe they sacrifice the power that they gained in order to save the world, or something of that effect. On the other side of the spectrum, you can open the story to a completely new arena of power, never perceived in the previous series. When done correctly, it can vastly expand the scope of the universe you're exploring, making it feel bigger just by the very concept. When done incorrectly, passing the torch adds another layer of complexity to it, because it's also essential to answer these two vital questions. Why isn't the tested hero the one going on the quest? And what will they be doing during this portion of the story? The second question at least has to be answered before the series ends, and if you wait that long to answer the question, people are typically going to want a bigger payoff than sitting on a rock in some corner of the universe while everything they knew and loved burns to the ground. Because of the added difficulty, a lot of passing the torch stories will simply opt to just kill off the previous hero, thus quickly answering both questions. But enough on that. How does Digimon choose to tackle the dilemma? Digimon takes a very straightforward and well-written narrative approach to crippling the previous heroes, and they accomplish this in a very solid setup within the first 2 episodes. When the Digimon are in trouble, naturally they reach out to Tai, the leader of the Digidestins, to come and save the day. But even with Tai's help, Agumon can't digivolve. That's because the new antagonist is using an upgraded Digivice that prevents the old ones from working properly. But there's more to it than even that. We see right away that the digital world has changed a lot, and that the kids can now travel in and out of the portals using their Digivices. But there's a caveat. The kids can only travel when the portal is open. As the time of the portal opening and closing are unpredictable, we hear Tai mention that they always try to leave before the sun goes down, lest they be trapped in the digital world overnight and cause complications. These limitations do not exist with the new Digidestins, who all receive upgraded Digivices. Using their new Digivices, or D3s, they can open the Digiportals whenever they want. In addition, they can also bypass the Digivolution restrictions by armor digivolving their Digimon, an evolution method that the old team does not have access to. But the biggest reason that our old team must pass the torch, which also ties into the previous mentioned examples, is that they are losing their wish power. But Reaper, I can already hear you ask, what's wish power? Don't worry, I'm about to explain. The Digiworld goes by a number of names, some of which are the Shadow World, the Parallel World, and the World of Dreams. For our purpose, we'll look at the latter to clarify one of the qualities of the digital world. That is, it has the abilities to make dreams come true, or put another way, to grant wishes. Now the wishes we're referring to are not the all-powerful abilities of the Diginomes in Season 3. You can't wish for a Mega Laser and suddenly materialize one, or otherwise, write a list of detailed wishes and have them come true. We're talking about a much more tame ability, to impose will and emotion on a specific circumstance, and favorably influence the current situation. If that explanation sounds a bit ambiguous, that's because it kind of is. We do get a vague explanation from Izzy halfway through Season 2, and we get a little more information about the nature of that power in Season 3. But I think the simplest way to explain it is through the actions that we see in the series. For example, the OG crew activates their crests, charge their Digivices, and on occasion heal their Digimon using their wish power. But we also learn that a limiting factor for this wish power is childlike wonder. So once again, let's break down the specifics. Starting with childlike. It's been 4 years since the original Digidestined's last adventure. Most of them are in high school, and well on their way to young adulthood. They're quickly advancing past the definition of childlike. That is all but our 2 youngest OG members, who can still make the cut. That's right, in addition to not getting your letter to go to Hogwarts, finding out your quirk list, and losing your you don't get a magic talking dinosaur as a best friend. Growing up really does suck, doesn't it? Okay, so we've covered the childlike part. What about the wonder? Well, that's gonna be another hit against the OG crew. Let's put it this way. If you suddenly wake up in a magical world where it seems anything is possible, you wouldn't feel limited by the rules of the old world. For this example, let's say you get into an accident and you lose a finger. Instead of thinking about how you'll have to adjust to life with one less finger, you might think no big deal. In a world of magic, something like fixing a finger should be easy. So in this case, your attitude derives from the idea that this world has no limits, and for this scenario, the very belief that there is a solution is the solution. Still following? Analysis machine, any ideas?
Match found.
You need to believe in the impossible. Can you do that?
Ah, well done, analysis machine. So you could say belief in the impossible makes it possible. Our original team has been exposed to the digital world for 4 years. They've integrated the workings of the digital world to their everyday lives. To them, there's nothing fantastical about seeing a pack of Numemon burst out of a vending machine. It's just Tuesday. Now that we've discussed our criteria for wishing power, let's look at the 2 characters that fall right in the middle, Kari and TK. Kari and TK are the only members of the OG team to make the cut into the 02 team. They may not be filled with wonder, but they're still childlike, so their wishing power is still strong enough to transform their old Digivices into the upgraded D3s. On top of that, they're each able to summon enough wish power to activate a Digi-Egg, allowing both of their Digimon to armor Digivolve. Not too shabby. But compare this to the other O2 members, who each receive 2 Digi-Eggs. And if you need more evidence of Kari and TK's fading wishing power, you can see that whenever they travel through the digital gate, unlike the other O2 members, Kari and TK don't get an outfit change, much like the OG members. As a side note, the fading wishing power is the best reason I can think of regarding why the much more experienced and level-headed TK wouldn't automatically be chosen as a team leader over Davis. Just saying, if I was him, I'd feel pretty slighted. But since we're talking about leaders, let's talk about team dynamics. Davis and Vmon are very different from Tai and Agumon. And the same goes for the other members of the new team. Sure, they do have some similarities. You need look no further than their corresponding crest symbols to see that. But they're all their own characters, wholly unique and completely independent from their counterparts. Even TK and Kari, who were part of the previous team, are very different from what they used to be, displaying more depth, personality, and responsibility, a natural progression from them getting older. Kari and TK used to be the youngest in the group by a good margin, and their older brothers were the group's leader and co-leader respectively. In the past, it was very easy to defer the hard decisions to their brothers or one of the older kids, but now they can't really do that, and at times we see them struggle with that concept. They may be the most experienced members in Team 02, but they're still in new territory. Similarly, the other members of Team 02 have to face different demons and personal challenges than what we see the OG team face, which by result means different internal conflicts that need to be addressed as a team, like whether or not to let a former enemy into your ranks, or what to do when the safety of your team conflicts with your own personal morality. All that to say, the team doesn't just look different, it feels different. Alright, so we have our reason of why our new heroes are better suited for this new adventure, and we established some things that make them unique. So what do we do with the old heroes? Should we toss them in a closet and forget about them? Shove them in a corner to collect dust? Completely erase them from the story? Other series might do just that, but not Digimon. The old Digidestins play a very active role in the story. They maintain a constant presence throughout the series without upstaging the new cast. From start to finish, there's no question that this focus of this show is on this new Digidestin team. Well, if they're not a bunch of show-stealing, nostalgia-grubbing glory hogs, then surely the old team has become a bunch of bumbling idiots, forgetting everything they learned through their adventures and regressing to a state of irrelevancy only suitable for comic relief, right? Again, maybe something you'd see in a different series, but not Digimon. In addition to feeling a very vital support role where the older kids cover for the families of the new team, help them strategize and occasionally provide backup, they each play a very fitting mentor role for the younger members, often imparting the important life lessons that they learned on their own journey to help guide their younger counterparts down the path of maturity. In the beginning of the series, each member of the old team gets an episode to team up with the new Digidestins, some of which have a very distinct changing of the guard moment. But since it's put in context, none of it really seems that heavy-handed. But even near the end of the series, we get some really powerful scenes of Tai and some of the other kids doing their best to mentally prepare the new team about some of the tough decisions that they'll need to make in battle and the weight and consequences that will result from those actions. Okay, I hear you saying. Tai and the gang are great, but surely these new and improved Digimon can run circles around the old and dusty ones from Season 1, right? Their power's probably completely irrelevant now. And to that I say you're clearly not paying attention, because once again, the answer is no. When the Digimon Emperor takes control of Agumon, we see firsthand how much of a challenge it would be for this new team to take on one of these veteran Digimon in battle. But more telling than that, even by the end of the series, most of the partner Digimon of the new team cannot reach the ultimate level on their own. Instead, they rely on DNA digivolving to increase their strength, which is not only an interesting method of breaking the mold, but it's also a testament to just how stacked our old team was. And by the end of the series, when the two teams are standing on equal terms, you can look back and see just how much our new team has truly grown. Looks like the runtimes are getting scarce, so let's go ahead and sum this up. A well-transitioned sequel series should build on the foundation of its predecessor, abide by a similar set of rules established by the previous series, respect the significance of the characters and the journey of the prior series, narratively explain why our previous characters aren't the ones going around and solving all the problems, clearly explain where our old characters stand relative to our new ones, make our new characters unique and compelling enough to set them apart from the old ones, reference major events in the previous series that had a lasting impact, and provide at least a few rewarding payoffs for those who followed along with the previous series. And if you're searching for a sequel series that does all of that, then look no further than Digimon Season 2, a masterclass in passing the torch.
I think we older kids can take a lot of pride when we call these beginners the new Digidestined.
You're right, Izzy. The torch has been passed, and they didn't get burned once.
Hey guys, this is Future Reaper from the past. Long story, not important. But if you made it this far, we just want to say thank you for watching and sticking with us. And if you have 5 more seconds to spare, help us out with a like and sub. Our goal is to get to 100 subscribers before the end of the year, but we can't do that without you. But for those of you who aren't ready, no worries. We'll make a true believer out of you yet. And on that note, we're interested to hear your thoughts. Did we get it right, or did we miss the mark? Let us know in the comment section. We look forward to reading it. But for the time being, it's time to call it a day. My name is D Reaper, and I'm a YouTuber for fun. Today's challenge, go digital. Good luck, and I'll see you all in the next one.